The last thing I want to show you in this psychophysical lecture is that in comparison to using the tables, the psychophysical tables from Liberty Mutual in your textbook, you can also find this information on the web. And so I'm going to go ahead and switch over to that. I give you this website in the homework, also. So Liberty Mutual provides their database online, and it's set up it covers the same information, but it's set up just a little bit differently. Within Liberty Mutual's website, it gives you an area for lifting tasks, lowering tasks, pushing tasks, pulling, and carrying. Okay, so they're all set up that they contain similar information to the tables in your textbook, but I just want to walk you through one as it interprets the information just a little bit differently. Instead of giving you the weight recommendations, it's telling you based on your task how much you actually are lifting, lowering, pushing, or pulling, or carrying, what percent of the population can handle that particular task. For example, if I go into the carrying task, it pulls it up. Again, we don't have many inputs for that, but for this, the object weight, if we use that same tray carrying example, the object weight was 46 pounds, and notice that this is your SI units here, but US customary units, 46 pounds. The hand height for carrying, it provides 33 or 43 inches. These are based on male anthropometry. Your 33 inches will be with your arms down at your so you're carrying it at knuckle height. Your 43 inches will be you're carrying it at elbow height, and so we said for a tray of food people carry it at elbow height, so let's go with a higher value. Your carrying distance, we had meters, we had 4 meters, I think, that's close to 14 feet. And then our frequency of one carry we were doing it said 3 times per day for your meals, but actually it's probably approximately once every 8 hours. So very infrequent. Hit calculate on this and it gives you a population percentage greater than 90% as a result. So population percentage greater than 90%. Switching back to our lecture, again, those were the tasks. I just clipped that from the screen. Our textbook gave us the maximum loading in kilograms that's recommended. So this mol in kilograms is recommended. The website, given an actual value, it's giving you the percent capable of handling the task. So percent capable of handling the task. For the males, again, that's repeating the inputs there. The example, the carrying the tray, we had 46 pounds that we used. Once we got those inputs, we duplicated those inputs, the result was 90%. And so our question is, can an acceptable percentage of males handle 46 pounds? Okay, so we're interested in that. Our interpretation, it was 90%. Our interpretation on this was that the load weight is acceptable, so our 46 pounds is acceptable if you only have males doing the task. If you've only got males, then it should be our percentage is greater than or equal to 90%. And in our case, it was 90%, so we're good. 46 pounds is acceptable to our population. If you were doing the task and only females were carrying the tray, so only females are doing the job, then that percentage needs to be greater than or equal to 75% of female handlers. If you have males and females on the job, it needs to be greater than or equal to 75% of females. And I don't have this written on a slide, but if you have an unknown sex, so your actual lifters on your task, you don't know what their sex is, so unknown sex, you still want it to be 75% of female handlers that have the capability. So your most conservative value is designed for females greater than or equal to 75%. If it's males only, you know it's males only, you can increase the percentage to 90%. Okay. So the job is good if your percentage that the website gives you is more than 75%, or 90% for the relevant sex. If it's 50%, if it's 20%, then that's a poor task, needs to be redesigned. So in our previous tray problem, if we went back, we entered males, it gave us more than 90. If we entered females, the answer for that the website gave us was 76% of females are capable of carrying 46 pounds. And so our 76 is greater than our limit of 75. So yes, job is okay, job is acceptable. Job is low risk. We don't expect to see an injury in this particular job. To wrap this up, we've looked at five methods. Overall, why use psychophysics? A lot of the times it's used purely out of convenience. It is fairly easy to do, doesn't take a lot of measurements, doesn't take a lot of big expense to measure. We don't need special equipment typically, and so it's very convenient. It's fast. You can solve a problem within, quick 2 or 3 minutes. And so as you do a worksite evaluation, you can imagine biomechanics takes a little bit of time, a little bit of more expertise. Psychophysics is pretty fast. And as I mentioned, you don't need, in most cases, you don't need anything more than, pencil, paper. If you're doing the psychophysical tables, you need a tape measure, but it's inexpensive. The results are consistent and reproducible. If you ask people to evaluate, for example, is this tool too heavy, rated between too heavy to too light, they're going to consistently repeat the same. Be able to reproduce or repeat their same evaluation. Whenever we do have objective measures such as your heart rate, we saw Borg's RPE did have a good correlation with an objective measure. And in psychophysics, as I mentioned earlier in the lecture, it's a better MSD indicator than almost anything we have out there. We can't tell what people are feeling if they have early discomfort, early signs of early symptoms of MSD unless we ask them. And so that wraps up or concludes the psychophysics lecture.